Hey guys, Books Nelson here with another news preview. Just a quick news breakdown of what's coming out tomorrow, what we can expect. As you know, we'll have a more detailed breakdown when we actually get the intro from the cards, and we'll also be doing card breakdowns of some of these cards, right? And we'll talk about recent events with Kobe Bryant at the end of this video. But first, let's actually get into the content and discuss these cards. So, so we'll start with the opals and stuff first. I have to say, this looks like an overall really good set. This looks like one of the best sets that they have put forward so far because Mike Miller has a fantastic jumper. Alonzo Mourning should be excellent defensively. I'm a little nervous about his jumper, but he should be usable at the power forward position. Sean Livingston is going to be a gigantic point guard. I don't know what his SIGs are going to look like, to be honest with you. We'll see how the Opal Love treats his SIGs, but just being that size at the point guard means he probably has some use. Tari Eason, his Ruby card was solid, and I think that'll be usable. Shannon Brown is at least going to be really fun, dunking all over the court, going to be a fun card. And Bargnani is going to be a big who can shoot, 7-footer who can shoot the basketball. So then we look over at the Bionic insert. So it's a Bionic collection, if I haven't said that already, headlined by 100 overall KD that almost no one is going to get. So we can pretty much ignore KD, who's going to continue in the tradition of 100 overalls that are not top one at their position most likely. We'll see what they give him in terms of SIGs, but again, big chance you don't run into that card, and if you do, hopefully you have a Jonathan Isaac style card to counter him. But who else is in this set? Okay, so I wanted to talk about a couple of these cards. So obviously Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons. We'll see what the shot is like. Ben Simmons, weirdly enough, usually has a good release, even if his ratings are low. And he's a dark matter. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's right at the top of the ladder in terms of point guards. I don't know if he'll be the best until we see what SIGs he gets overall. But at that height, and we can see here, he does have PG, PF eligibility. I actually think he might even be really, really good at power forward too. He might be one of your better moving power forwards, depending on what they give him. But at that height, clearly going to be a cheesy PG. The main thing, though, is can he 3-hunt, right? Because no matter how cheesy he is, him going to the basket is not going to be good as a card like Shea, doing the Jamal Murray behind the back into a three-pointer. That's arguably the best tool in the game, right? Especially if you know how to L2 cancel. If you can L2 cancel and use a screen to get a three, that is such a valuable tool that, especially when threes are harder to come by, a card like Ben Simmons is going to be great for most of the community. But as you play better people, that ability to create 3-point shots, you need it on the floor. And you need it from more than one source because of the stamina in this game, right? I think you need at least 2 cards on your lineup that can really go heavy. And this is the unfortunate thing about the gambling cards is like if you have Dr. J and Ron Artest and Glenn Rice and like Clyde, you're cool. But if you're missing one of those cards, Dr. J and Ron Artest are both by gambling, right? So now you need the Shea on the court and you have less lineup flexibility. So I think it depends on what lineups you have. If you have enough shot creators around Ben to have him be that defensive demon slasher on the court, I anticipate he'll be able to shoot. I'm not worried about him catching and shooting open shots. It's more about the creating of the 3-point shots. Joel Embiid, I anticipate this is the first Joel Embiid card that will not have Joel Embiid dribble style. So it's probably going to be really good. But at the end of the day, Joel Embiid's just not a card that 2K has figured out how to make awesome yet, right? And now I'm a Knicks fan, so right now I hate him with all my heart and soul. But fact of the matter is, Joel Embiid is one of the most skilled centers of all time. In fact, if it wasn't for Nikola Jokic right now, he would be in that conversation for most skilled with the threes and everything else. But Jokic is just another demon, right? But offensively, defensively, stats wise, we expect him to be good. But is he going to have the animations that make him feel like that next level center? Not sure about it. Another card I want to talk about is this Anthony Edwards. So Anthony Edwards was hated on by the community from pretty much the beginning all year. I actually thought that Anthony Edwards was always a pretty good card. I know he was undersized at the 2, but he always had really good SIGs. And the only thing holding him back is his jumper's a little slow. So now it's going to be on very quick. We'll see if the designers at 2K have the courage to change this guy's base. Because if he gets T-Mac or Patty Mills base, you might be looking at a guy in that argument for best point guard in the game. And I know that sounds crazy because you guys think Anthony Edwards has sucked all year, but he's had some really good sigs and has like the ability to get to the rim really fast. So if he gets that ability to create a 3-point shot, you're talking about something really special in Anthony Edwards. Even at 6'4", he's only going to be 6'4", but I think he's going to be more like Dwayne Wade. But imagine Dwayne Wade with the potential to have that Gilbert Arenas kind of shot creation ability is what I'm hoping for Ant Edwards, partially just because he's such a good young player that I want to see Ant I want to see Ant get a good card in the game. You know, we want to celebrate Anthony Edwards. We don't want Anthony Edwards to be bad all year. Andre Kirilenko, you know what he's going to bring to the table. I don't love Kirilenko's jump shot. I don't like the way it's like on the way up and doesn't really have like a great cue. And I've seen other people who love Kirilenko actually be inconsistent with that jumper. Now, he's going to have the stats absolutely juiced, so he should be pretty good. But we know defensively, he's going to be at the very, very top of the line as far as that goes. And then we have Chris Webber. Chris Webber, I don't think is going to be very good unless he can play small forward. We can't see his eligibility here. If he can't play small forward, he's going to be the joke dark matter, in my opinion, because I think Tyler Hero is going to get some SIGs, some SIG love to bring him up to par. I don't think we're just going to get the old Tyler Hero with better stats. We'll probably get the most usable version of Tyler Hero. And at worst, I think Tyler Hero is going to be, I don't know, top 10 at his position. I think at best, he's probably, around 6 or 7. But I think Chris Webber, if he can't play small forward, Chris Webber is going to wind up being literally not top 20 at the power forward position. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not top 20 at the power forward position. He just has a small build. He has a small build. I would say his ceiling if he can only play the power forward position, is Tyler Hansborough, right? That's his ceiling. If they just totally juice him with SIGs, Tyler Hansborough is a great offensive card. Obviously undersized, but in triple threat, he's probably one of the top 10 triple threat cards in the game. Because once he has that space and you can run him at point guard, basically, he's awesome. Chris Webber might be good in that capacity, but in terms of clutch time and unlimited, he needs to be able to play the 3, which is unfortunate because, he's a lifetime power forward, but he just doesn't feel like a true 6'10". I know sometimes he's listed as 6'9", feels like a small 6'9", more on the level of Pascal Siakam. And he needs to be able to play Siakam's role to play. So now that that's all out of the way, that's the preview for what's coming up. Exciting collection overall. Ironically, the one card that I'm least excited about is KD, even if he was available. Like, even if KD was a dark matter, just because they haven't figured out KD this year. The thing in 5v5 with KD is he has great animations. They take a lot of getting used to. And in my team, because you're rotating cards in and out of your lineup, you're not going to tend to spend that much time with the card. But even with that, his leaner creates so much space that on a 5v5 court, he sometimes is moving into the defense. So it's not that I think that KD sucks. It's just so much easier for a card like a Luol Deng to just be efficient, whereas KD's like this kind of special case situation, but he doesn't bring the specialness of like Giannis and LeBron, where they're or even Kawhi. Kawhi's so good at defense passively that you're just like, oh, I can play you because of this. KD doesn't really have a passive skill in this game, unfortunately, because he's such a great shooter. You would hope that he had some of that Kyle Korver, even if it was in the mid-range, that just shooting in the mid-range with KD just felt different, but it doesn't. And so KD is just kind of like a tall, awkward card that I don't think is very exciting in this year's version of 2K. Hopefully they figure that out next year, because this was not the year for KD. All right, so obviously we're talking about cards. We're talking about being excited for cards while we had this travesty occur with Kobe Bryant. First of all, shout out to all of the new subscribers. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Shout out to Ty Debo, obviously, to DBG. Obviously, those guys promoted this channel. We're very generous in doing that. And I told you guys before they did that, I was a fan of both creators. I'm actually a fan of almost all my team creators, really, except for one. And most of you know who that is. I'm not afraid to say his name, but I don't want this to be about that. But you guys know who that probably is. I think if you're a real My Team creator, even if you're a pack puller, I'm going to talk about this in a later video. I don't have anything against that and against you, right? But if you're not really here for the community, if you're just a grifter, if you're just like doing my team content because you think it'll serve you, I don't think that's good for the community. And so I don't support that. So if that's your attitude as a creator, know that I don't agree with your approach. But if you're just trying to do fun content, even if it's content that I don't like, I still support the fact that you're trying to do it, you know, for your audience, right? For what you're trying to get done. Because there's some like small, my team, like really small, right? Like guys who at this point now are smaller than me, and all they do is pack openings. That's literally all they do. And I don't like that content myself, like just pack opening content, but I don't hate on it. And because there's people that's enjoying that, right? And I understand that a lot of the community disagrees with that because they feel like it supports 2K's practices, but we'll talk about that in another video. But what I did want to say is, even though this terrible thing happened with this Kobe Bryant card, and really the 100 overalls, the all gambling cards, we hate all of this stuff. The, you know, the player market and the way the value of the cards is all messed up, and the various broken promises and lies of 2K. This channel is here to inform and increase the enjoyment of the people playing the game, whoever that is, right? If 2K absolutely burns my team all the way to the ground so that there are literally no content creators, then that's a different story. But as long as I'm in this space, I never want to be a channel that only complains. If you are playing the game, I want you to have enjoyment from the game, despite what 2K does, because they're the only game in town as far as basketball goes. It's the only game to play. And really, this part is one of the best ways to enjoy the NBA aspect, because even though it's an arcadey game mode, it still feels cool to get your favorite players in your lineup when you can. Even if they play nothing like the favorite player, it still feels cool, even in its own cartoony way. And I appreciate that, right? I think in 2K19, when I first started playing my team, and I just really appreciated that aspect of the game. And it's a really different thing from my career, which is where I do spend a lot of my time in my career as well. And, you know, I don't want 2K's mistakes to take all of your joy, right? That's the thing. I don't want, just because they're being bad doesn't mean that everybody should be miserable because of it, right? If what 2K has done has gone too far for you and you put the game down, I not only support that, I encouraged it. I think people should do the stuff that they enjoy. And we talked about it before. This game is kusoge. That means, politely, crap game, right? But the reason they came up with the term is because people enjoy bad games, and it's okay. Sometimes a bad game has just enough good in it that it is the thing that you like at the time. And if that's where you are, this channel is going to be here for you, right? I'm not gonna sit here and just farm misery all day. If 2K does something garbage, you guys know I'll call them out on it, and we'll discuss it, and we'll break it down and all of that stuff. But I want us to enjoy the video game. I know, radical idea. 2K is trying their hardest to make it difficult. But the primary thing is I want you guys to get more enjoyment of the video game. The way I'm getting enjoyment out of the video game, I'm actually enjoying it despite all the things that are wrong with it. I enjoy the game. I want you guys to enjoy the game. That's the goal of the channel. But sometimes when we come across problems, we got to get into the weeds, discuss what's going on so that we can do our part to hold 2K accountable to make this game a better game. All right. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I will see y'all tomorrow breaking down this collection, breaking down these cards, and for more card breakdowns. We've got some more requested cards coming up that we'll be discussing soon, so keep your eye out for that. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.